Want to hear a more diverse perspective on art? Tune in to Speaking of Art, the official podcast of Sharjah Art Foundation, featuring conversations with some of the most prominent artists and curators from Asia, Africa, and around the world. Listen to Speaking of Art wherever you get your podcasts.
It's Friday, the 12th of June, 2020. Hello and welcome to Join News at 6 with me, Komla Adom. The news is live here on Joy 99.7 FM in Accra, on Love 99.5 FM in Kumasi, more than a dozen affiliates across Ghana's 16 regions, including Bishara Radio in the northern region, Sky FM in the Bono region, and Marks FM in the western region. We're on ABN Radio in London and around the world at myjoyonline.com.
We started this from the last 7th day up to today, and we are still on it. We'll be burying 5 at a go. We're going to bury more. We only want to alert the public. The COVID is real, and therefore protect yourself. Observe the national protocol measures to protect yourself, protect your family.
Enforcement of no mask, no entry in the Central Business District dies down as people trade without face masks.
The law enforcers, they have to up the game because look at it, the figures are going up.
Meanwhile, virologists at the Kumasi Center for Collaborative Research calls for a review of Ghana's COVID-19 strategy. Also, Public Health Directorates of the Accra Metropolitan Assembly laments inadequate logistics to carry out burials for persons who die from coronavirus.
We don't have to use the public haste in transporting the bodies to this infectious zone. We have made appeal to the state to support us with a movable and befitting double cabin pickups that we can always carry these bodies safely to the burial site. Coming into the place is difficult.
We have details as the health officials continue to appeal to people to abide by the safety protocols.
In business, importers of used cars hint of passing costs of demurrage and rent charges to buyers as they struggle to clear vehicles from the ports. We've got details in 15 minutes.
And road accidents as well as its related deaths and injuries have declined the first time in many years. That's in our Arrive Alive campaign later in the bulletin. Let's begin with this rather sad story, and it's been 8 days since we told you the story about Agnes Dogbe, the story of a 48-year-old breast cancer patient facing eviction. She rallied thousands together as Ghanaians finally contributed to sponsor her healthcare. Your support was uplifting, but unfortunately, it was too late. Agnes passed away yesterday at the Kolebu Teaching Hospital after she developed complications. Host of a Prime Morning show on the Joy Prime channel, Daniel Datsey, and producer of the same show, Esina Mosai, have been speaking.
When we met Agnes, it was very obvious that she was in pain. She was very, very sick, and we were basically racing against time. We, as soon as possible, got her to the hospital.
She was rushed to the hospital on Monday night. She was complaining of pains in her stomach, so she was admitted. That's after 4 hours of waiting to get a bed for her. She was fine. Then Tuesday, she was sleeping a lot. Yesterday, we went to see her. She was still deeply asleep. We were still praying for a miracle. At least she loved her kids so much, just for God to keep her alive, to take care of her 2 kids. I was in the office when a friend who was taking care of her there called and told me that she had died. I was very, very, very heartbroken.
You heard the host of a Prime Morning show on the Joy Prime channel, Daniel Datsey, and producer of the same show, Esina Mosai, speaking about that unfortunate development there. Now to COVID-19 related stories. City authorities' enforcement of a no mask, no entry has subsided in Accra Business District. Joy News' checks reveal people have ditched the wearing of face masks, with some not wearing it properly as mandated by health officials. The few observing the nose mask protocols are worried, and they are demanding city authorities ramp up enforcement. More in this report.
In the heart of the Central Business District of Accra in May, as security operatives enforced the no mask, no entry policy. At that time, Ghana had recorded less than 2,000 positive cases. People without masks were either shown the exit or forced to buy face masks. Fast forward, the story is different today. Road blockades and security personnel enforcing the use of the masks are now missing. Those who wear masks often say they are worried. That's a 40-year-old trader there. She was excited when the enforcement of the face masks started. She wants the task force to be back in full force. A customer, Suleimana Abdulaziz, shares the same sentiment.
Initially, when the case started, everybody was following the steps. But it got to a time, the general public, all of us, we lose so relaxed. The law enforcers, they have to up the game.
Meanwhile, virologists at the Kumasi Center for Collaborative Research says Ghana must review its strategy in the fight against COVID-19. Ghana's case count continues to rise, with the death toll also increasing. Joy News' sources reveal that treatment centers are being stretched, with more positive cases being hospitalized. Yet in the face of this reality, there are many who still do not observe the safety protocols. Dr. Michael Uso has been speaking to this.
There has to be a review of strategy. This is the fourth level classified by the Africa CDC or the WHO, where the asymptomatic cases have built a base. And now that they have built the base, they will begin to knock off the vulnerable population, which is what we are seeing. This should tell us that we need to reorganize our system and channel more resources to health facilities to ensure that adequate testing is done and that people get their results in real time and people are able to at least are taken care of.
You heard that Dr. Michael Owusu, he is a virologist at the Kumasi Center for Collaborative Research. And the Public Health Directorate of the Accra Metropolitan Assembly is lamenting inadequate logistics to carry out burials for persons who die from coronavirus. Health Officer Joseph Asitanga says environmental officials have to improvise, from collecting the bodies at the morgues to the cemetery for burial, exposing them to high risks. He made the revelation when Joy News tagged along to observe the burial of 5 persons at the Awudome Cemetery here in Accra.
The challenges we have is enormous. These bodies, they are infectious bodies, which we don't have to use the public haste in transporting the bodies to this infectious zone. We have made appeal to the state, the government, to support us with a movable and befitting double cabin pickups that we can always carry these bodies safely to the burial site. Coming into the place is difficult, and the haste has to stop at the end of the entrance. The officers have to carry this body. Imagine how heavy it is with these 3 stumps. You can see that when we were transporting the bodies from the mortuary, because of inadequate transport facility, you see that they were all hanged in the bucket. Very serious risk.
Joseph Asitanga is a public health officer at the Accra Metropolitan Assembly who supervised the burial of 5 bodies on Thursday. Now, this story will put a smile on your face as a visually impaired farmer. He has worked for over 30 years, putting food on the table of many families. But all he has to show for his hard work is a weak madhouse. Lawrence Demebu, a 60-year-old resident of Afajato South District, who vowed never to beg, appealed to kind-hearted people to build him a small, decent retirement house. Guess what? The Lions Club, an international humanitarian organization, plans on making his dream come true. Jojo Kobna has the rest of the story.
For many years, he vowed never to beg to survive. With the support of a white cane, he had learned to move independently. Lawrence walks for over 30 minutes, carefully navigating his farm daily to work long hours in order to put food on his table. However, he does not always reap from his sweat, as unscrupulous people always steal from him.
Sometime while harvesting yam, some people follow me and they steal from me. I never find them.
For over 30 years, all he has to show for his hard work is a weak madhouse. Lions Club, a non-political humanitarian organization, visited Lawrence in Liati in the Afajato South District to make his dream come true. Members of the club presented some items to him. Then Lawrence led them to the proposed site for his dream house.
Jojo Kobna's report there. Now, reports from the National Road Safety Authority show road accidents and its resultant deaths and injuries are on the decline. It declined by 14% in the first 5 months of the year 2020 compared to 2019 figures. Winston Amwa is in studio with me with more on this. Winston, what should we know?
Well, Komala, provisional statistics on road traffic crashes from January to May 2020 indicates that a total of 5,465 crashes were reported, that involving 9,163 vehicles, with 958 accidents of pedestrian knockdowns and 909 deaths and 5,703 injuries. Lots of numbers. But if you compare this to the same period in 2019, this year's situation represented a reduction in cases reported by 5.22% and vehicles involved by 2.54% and the fatalities by 14.49%. What's refreshing is that for us here at Joy FM and Joy is running a campaign, Arriving Alive, and where we've been sharing tips with drivers, pedestrians on the things they should do and things that they shouldn't do. And so it's refreshing to note that it's